Hi students, hi friends. Today in another new chapter, we are going to discuss about the top 20 interview questions from internal combustion engines, which popularly known as the IC engine. It is a subject of interest for many mechanical engineering students, but what are the important questions asked frequently in all the campus interviews as well as in the industries? Let us discuss with that one. The first question: what is an IC engine? IC means internal combustion engine. Two types of engines can be possible: internal combustion engine as well as external combustion engine. In internal combustion engine, the combustion process, that means the fuel air mixture, the burning process, the chemical reaction is taken place inside this engine cylinder, so that we cannot see it from outside from the cylinder, and that is known as the IC engine. Question number 2: what is a two-stroke engine? Generally, this 2-stroke, 4-stroke engine is very common to all of you, but what is particularly the 2-stroke engine? In a 2-stroke engine, within the 2 strokes of the piston, the complete engine cycle, that means suction, compression, power, exhaust, is completed with one complete revolution of the crankshaft. That means you can say that with 360 degrees rotation of the crankshaft, the 4 processes which is mandatory for all the IC engines to start the engine, suction, compression, power, exhaust, is completed within the 2 strokes of the piston. That means piston moving from TDC to BDC or from BDC to TDC. Question number 3: what is a 4-stroke engine? So now it is very simple. So in a 4-stroke engine, these 4 processes, suction, compression, power, exhaust, is completed with 4 strokes of the piston, and also you can say that it takes 2 complete revolution of the crankshaft. That means the crankshaft rotates 720 degrees for complete these 4 processes in a 4-stroke engine. That's why you can say that 2-stroke engine develops a power stroke or power at the half of the time that of this 4-stroke engine. So 2-stroke engines are more pickup than that of this 4-stroke engines. Question number 4: define octane number and cetane number. We know that in case of this petrol engines or gasoline engines, we are using petrol, CNG, we are using LPG, and in case of diesel engines we are using the fuel as a diesel engine, diesel fuel. But how to standardize this fuel? Now 2 numbers are given, one is octane number, another one is cetane number. Octane number gives the standards for the gasoline fuels, and cetane number gives the standards for the diesel fuel. The more the octane or the more the cetane number, that means the knocking tendencies decreases. We are taking it as a very good fuel. Octane number, how it can be defined? You can say that in a mixture of isooctane and normal heptane, how much percentage in volume the isooctane is present, that is known as the octane number. Generally, in petrol fuel, the octane number varies from 87 to 94. That means you can say that 94 octane number fuel means it is a very good petrol fuel and it has a very good resistance to knocking. Like this, in case of this cetane number, which gives the standard to the diesel fuel, we can say that the percentage in volume that is present the N cetane with a mixture of normal cetane and alpha methyl heptadene. ये दोनों with these two fuels mixture, how much percentage the normal cetane is present, that is known as the cetane number. Generally, diesel fuel having a less cetane number, you can say that it is varies from 47 to 55 the number. So that we can say that which is a good fuel for diesel engine, that is a poor fuel for the petrol engine also. Question number 5. Among 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine, which is generally preferred and why? This is normally asked by the common peoples. 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines, which one should be preferred? According to me, if I will say, if you want more power, more pickup, then we should go for 2-stroke engine, because in case of 2-stroke engine, within 2 strokes you are getting 1 power stroke. But in case of this 4-stroke engine, the power is delayed. So it is, you can say that it is a slow engine. But if we talk about the emission systems, then 2-stroke engines are producing more emissions than that of this 4-stroke engine. So that nowadays these 2-stroke engines are eliminated. But according to that one also, the biggest engine, the marine engines can be used, they are using 2-stroke engines. Why? Because they want a initial torque very high. So we require to generate the power very quickly. So we are using 2-stroke engines there. Question number 6. What are the advantages of lubrication in IC engine? It may be a 2-wheeler, maybe 3-wheeler, maybe 4-wheeler. We are using lubrication oils, which otherwise also known as the engine oil. Why we are using this engine oil? Because we know that the piston cylinder arrangement, very quickly the piston is moving from TDC to BDC, BDC to TDC, and numbers of moving items are there inside this engine. As all these are metallic items, so very high friction is produced. So if we are using this engine oil, the engine oil is used as a lubrication purposes, number 1. Number 2, it also used as a cooling purposes also. It also cools the engine parts. And number 3, whatever the wear out parts, worn out parts from the metallic elements, that also be cleaned by the engine oil. So engine oil also can be used as a cleaning purposes. Question number 7. Name the fuels used by IC engine. Internal combustion engine में what are the fuels we are using? We are using petrol, we are using diesel, we can use CNG, compressed natural gas, we can use biofuels, biodiesels, we can use LPG, ethanol, methanol, blended fuels also can be used. Question number 8. Why have 8 cylinders in an engine? Why not have one big cylinder of the same displacement of 8 cylinder instead? That is a very interesting question. Why do you use 8 cylinders? Why not 1 cylinder of a big size of the same cc, cubic centimeter, the capacity? Because in case of 8 cylinders, if we are using, at a time all the cylinders are not powered. The power stroke is not taken place at a time at 8 cylinders. Maybe 2 cylinders are powered. And the explosion is taking place, the power stroke is taking place with some distances. So very good dynamic balancing is there. And number 2 is that due to this complete CC is divided in 8 cylinder, so this compression pressure is less. So you have not to compress the air fuel mixture to a higher end. So that's why initial force what will be applied, that also less. And thing is that the movement of the piston is there are 8 numbers of cylinder. So sizes of the cylinders are small. So the piston movement, that means the stroke, is less. So it can be termed as a speed engine. But instead, if you can use a big, larger size of one cylinder of same cc, then for compression of this gas, initial compression, you have to take a higher force. You have to give a very high pressure. And the explosion is very severe and it is not well balanced. So that also creates problem. And number 3 is that you can say that this piston movement, the stroke length is very high. So it can be a slow engine. Next question, question number 9. Why tailpipes are wet in two-stroke engine? The exhaust pipe, or we are saying that the silencer, you will find wet in case of these two-stroke engines. Why? Because in case of these two-stroke engines, for lubrication purposes, we are using engine oil, 2T oil, and that is directly mixed with this petrol and poured into the petrol tank. So whenever combustion is taken place, the petrol is able to burn within that temperature, but this engine oil is not completely burnt, and that is come out in case of this exhaust pipes through the silencers. So this oil which is not able to burn completely, that is in the liquid state, that is able to wet the exhaust tailpipes, and you will find wet in the tailpipe areas. Next question. Why efficiency of gas turbine is lowered compared to IC engine? We know that gas turbines are used in case of this aircraft engines, and these are also very popular. But why this efficiency is less in case of gas turbines? You see, gas turbines we are using compressors, rotors, turbines we are using, and whatever the power is produced, 60 to 70% of the power is utilized for rotating the compressor to compress the airfoil mixture, so that the total net power whatever we will get, that is decreases. And number 2 is that the temperature after compression we are getting less than that of this IC engine in case of this turbine. Is the temperature is less, so the thermal efficiency is also decreases. So we can say that the efficiency of turbine is less than that of this IC engine. Question number 11. What is the objective of cooling system? Why we are using cooling system in case of automobiles? Only to cool the engine. Then it is not required in case of this very cold areas. Cooling system, the objective is that to maintain a particular temperature which is appropriate for the engine. So cooling system not only cools the engine, but initially the morning time at the winter season, at the cool time, it also able to warm up the engine very quickly due to this thermostat arrangements. So cooling system objective is to maintain a particular temperature which is good for the engine. Question number 12. Why do not use same technology to start both SI and CI engine? SI, spark ignition engine, CI engine, compression ignition engine, both of them the starting procedure is different. Why? Because we know that in case of the spark ignition engine we are using petrol fuel, and the petrol fuel having the self ignition temperature is more than that of this diesel fuel. Also, in case of petrol engine, the compression ratio is used 6:1 to 10:1. That means less compression. But in case of diesel engine, it is used 16:1 to 24:1. Very high compression. So diesel engine after the compression generates a very high temperature. You can say around 900 to 1000 degrees Celsius it is generated after compression. But petrol engine, due to less compression, it generates less temperature than that of this diesel engine. So that for petrol engine, we are using an external device for combustion, that is spark plug. But in case of diesel engine, after compression we are creating a very high temperature, so no spark plug is required. Directly that compression heat can able to burn the diesel fuel. So although these are IC engines, the starting method of both are different. Question number 13, which has more efficiency, diesel or petrol engine? As I have said, the diesel engine is having more compression ratio, so it generates more temperature. The thermal efficiency of the diesel engine is definitely more than that of the petrol engine. So that also you can say that diesel engine giving you more mileage, it is more fuel efficient than that of this petrol engine. Question number 14, what are the types of piston ring and their positions? What many numbers of maybe piston rings we are using? 2, 3 or 4 rings we are using in case of the pistons, but there are two types of piston rings. One is compression ring, another one is oil ring. The compression ring is responsible for resist the compressed gas that should not come to this engine oil sump or to this engine block. It should not leak. And this oil ring, what of this lubricant oil is splashed, that is cleaned by this oil ring. So both two types of rings we are using in case of piston. Compression ring, maybe 2, 3 compression rings, fast compression, second compression, 3 compression rings, and one oil ring also we are using. And they are used, the position is that one ring is 120 degree apart from that another ring. Otherwise, if the rings are placed in one line, the rings are placed, so the opening section is in one line, maybe the compressed gas can pass through that one. Next question, what is scavenging? This is a very important question. Scavenging is a process in which the burnt out gases are cleaned from the engine cylinder by means of the fresh air fuel mixture. So this is more concentrated or more important in case of two-stroke engines, as we are getting very less time to clean out the burnt out gases from the engine cylinder. So we are using the process scavenging, so that the fresh air fuel mixture also helps to sweeps out, cleans out the burnt out gases from the engine cylinder, and that is known as scavenging. Question number 16, what is meant by supercharging or turbocharging? Nowadays this is very popular, supercharging, turbocharging. The first and foremost, the important objective, it may be a supercharging or turbocharging, is that it is able to give the engine inlet a high pressurized air or air fuel mixture. High pressurized air, the inlet air, when we are getting high dense of air, that means more oxygen you are getting. So complete combustion is possible and good combustion is there. So more power, more fuel economy, and good engine noise and vibration is also less. Pollution is also decreases. These are the advantages. But it is said to be supercharging when this turbine is rotated by means of taking power from the engine. But it is a turbocharger when this turbine is to be rotated by taking the help of this exhaust gas from the engine cylinder. So that you can say that turbocharger is more beneficial than that of the supercharger. Other points are there. There is another one video lecture of mine is there for specifically turbocharger. You may go through that one. Next question, Why diesel engine don't have spark plugs? As we know that diesel engine having a very high compression ratio 16:1 to 24:1. So after the compression ratio it produces a very high temperature which is suddenly able to burn the air fuel mixture. So there is no need of external spark plugs to ignite that one. Then question number 18. What is knocking? Difference between detonation and knocking. Very, very important question. Knocking means abnormal burning of fuel. In case of IC engines, we have a particular planning that when the fuel should burn, when the combustion should take place. But if it is beyond your planning, if it is suddenly, abnormally burning the fuel, then it is a problem, you can say a concern to the engine, and that due to that one very heavy pressure and wild sound is produced, and that is known as knocking. And knocking is every time possible in case of diesel engine, because diesel engine automatically burns the fuel. So that is every time a small amount of abnormal burning will be there. So knocking is every time produced in case of diesel engine. But knocking is more severe because we are using a homogeneous air fuel mixture in case of petrol engine. So it is more severe in case of petrol engine and more severe knocking in petrol engine, otherwise termed as detonation. Question number 19. What is ATFT technology in Honda vehicles? ATFT, Advanced Tumble Flow Induction Technology, ATFT. That means whenever the air fuel mixture coming to this engine cylinder through this inlet manifold, through this inlet valve, it should be a rotational motion rather than that of the streamline motion. It should be random in nature so that the air and these fuel molecules will be well mixed, it will comes in contact, more vaporization, so that easy burning, complete combustion will be possible. So due to this ATFT technology, the valve, the inlet manifolds are designed specifically. So whenever this air and air fuel mixture is coming to this engine cylinder, it will come through a rotary motion, random motions in nature, so that good combustion is possible and more power can be generated. The last question, question number 20. Why the inlet and exhaust valves are different in sizes? Although we may not know that inlet and exhaust valves are different in sizes, yes, inlet and exhaust valves are different in sizes. You can identify the inlet valve, which is a bigger in size, and the exhaust valve is a smaller in size. But the exhaust valve is opens more than that of this inlet valve. Why this exhaust valve opens more? Now, we want that the very high temperature gas, this exhaust gas is highly heated after this power stroke. We want that should come out from the engine cylinder very quickly, so that we are more opening the valve. As well as more opening, the valves are not coming constantly with this exhaust gases, otherwise there is a material deformation will also be there. So these are some of these logically important interview questions from the ICE engine. 25 questions are shortlisted, which are very, very important. Hope you have understood. Any doubts, any queries, please comment in the comment box. Thank you for watching this. Thanks a lot.